The fastest amateur riders have descended upon the Valley of the Sun the first weekend in November for the past 3 years. What the locals simply call ACP, Arizona Cycle Park, outside of Phoenix, Arizona, hosts the two-day Western Pro-Am and has turned it into a weekend of opportunity. This is the last chance for these young riders to earn their AMA advancement points to make it into the 2014 AMA Professional Supercross and Motocross events. The Western Pro-Am is a destination race. Basking in the warm November sun, riders from as far as the Pacific Northwest and Great White North escape the inclement weather to extend their racing season. And what event would be complete without a nod to the old school? The FMF Two-Stroke Challenge brings back the aroma of premix to the familiar combustible notes that Bradshaw, Carmichael, and McGrath wrote symphonies with. It is this weekend that will dictate what these riders do in 2014. It started out as a dream for all, but will be a reality for a few. This last race of 2013 will bring families together with a common passion and can propel riders to greatness. This is the third annual 2013 AMA Western Pro-Am. Welcome to the USA Sport Motocross Show. This is the 2013 AMA Western Pro-Am at Arizona Cycle Park. I'm Chris Vanters here with Aaron Eversman, and we got some motos going on behind us, but we had the 250As racing this afternoon for some advancement points.
The Pro-Am class is the namesake of the event. We're some of the most hotly contested races of the weekend. We've had riders turn out from all over the country, including Thomas Covington, Jaisaac Sloan, Martinez, local boy Tristan Truax, Jayme Gardiner, Swanson, and a slew of others. This weekend is particularly important because it's the last opportunity to earn pro advancement points. So for riders making the transition from amateurs to the pro ranks, whether it's supercross or motocross, this is the last opportunity of the season to do it. So there's a lot on the line, including a big blank check. Let's see what happens.
Let's see who wants the money and earn some points.
Getting the gates ready for 250A Moto 1. Just about to jump out, and it was Jaisaac Sloan that got to the first turn first.
Yeah, Jaisac's been working with Justin Bucklew and told me today he's been doing 5 starts minimum every day they go out and practice. On top of that, he's got his mental game dialed. You know, he can go out, he can visualize that start and go out and make it happen. So he got out to the early lead and was really putting on a pretty solid charge.
And the practice has been mostly at this track, he was saying, so he's got a lot of seat time here.
Yeah, he's definitely a local boy, born and raised here in Arizona, bounces back and forth to California. But speaking of California, he's got Thomas Covington really putting the hammer down behind him. Covington, Martinez, the pack really was running close here in the first few laps.
Yeah, Martinez was running up front last year in the 250A class, and second year in a row, he's on a borrowed bike, on pretty much a bike set up for someone a lot smaller than he is, but he was putting it out there like he's been riding that for weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark Worth hooked him up and helped him out, gave him a bike to ride for the weekend. He was having some mechanical issues and was able to get that dialed. Kyle Swanson coming through the shot. Swanson actually KO'd himself out here last year and looking for a little redemption. So as you can see, Covington really closing up the gap here on Sloan. And around lap 3 here as we're coming into, looks like Sloan's experiencing a little bit of trouble. Turns out it's a flat tire.
And Covington was right there, get past him, but Sloan didn't really slow him down that much to where he had to pull out.
He definitely had to ride some more conservative lines and really use his legs to control the bike. But Covington diving on the inside, getting around Jaisaac and pulling away with the lead.
And once
Jaisaac making the pass back around Covington, it looks like he's going to put on a charge. And here comes Covington again. He gets around and looks like he's on a mission, moving towards the front. So we've got Covington, Sloan.
And Covington makes it stick this time. And once he got out front, he's just started putting in some time over Sloan. And Sloan with that rear tire started dropping back a bit this first moto.
As you can see, they really started to open a gap in first and second. But behind him in third and fourth, looks like it was Jayme Gardiner, Martinez, and then also Kyle Swanson that were mixing it up and battling for that third place position. Covington really starting to check out here. He's got his line styled. He's been doing a lot of work in California, kind of getting himself prepped for the 2014 outdoors. finishing out his amateur career. So on that note, this is a really important weekend for guys in Thomas's position that are ready to make that transition into the pro ranks. This weekend really counts. And
Martinez is starting to stalk Sloan now, and then here we get a first look of Jayme Gardiner pretty much out of nowhere. And as it turns out, he had some issues with an off-track excursion, and he got back on in front of a few people, and that cost him.
Yeah, absolutely. He ended up cutting a corner of the track. I don't know if it was just a mistake. Although Jayme was suffering a one-lap penalty for cutting the track, he was still charging out there. Not sure if he knew what the situation was or not, but at this point, the damage had already been done. Covington really starting to open up that lead, but Jaisaac Sloan still hanging on despite the flat.
Yeah, so Martinez now in second, and then with Sloan, and then also Gardiner there, what appears to be in fourth.
And then Kyle Swanson charging up in fifth, and as the moto goes on, he's continuing to push his pace, and he's out there to prove a point.
Yeah. Swanson actually started catching up to Gardiner, and probably didn't know what Gardiner's situation was. He just saw a rider out front and started chasing him down.
Jayme's got incredible talent, incredible speed, but looks like he might have needed a little bit of work late moto. Keeping that tempo up, because Swanson was definitely starting to close the gap and reel him in. Covington. That was the name of the game here in Moto 1.
Yeah, he pretty much gapped him once he got into first and put about a 20-second gap on second place Cole Martinez.
Martinez coming through the shot. Another rider really has managed to rebound from some bad luck and having a pretty good showing out here in Arizona. Gardiner and Swanson, now the battle's tightening up. We got Swanson on his rear wheel looking for a line around. Lines really started to get pretty rutted on the insides, and everything began to push out as the motos progressed. And here comes Swanson up the inside. Makes a move, takes the line away from Gardiner, looks back, makes sure he's got it, almost loses it in the sand.
Yeah, but it was a pass for nothing, as it turned out, with Gardiner's one-lap penalty.
This weekend, the track crew made some changes, including this new 10 Commandments type section that they're coming through now. It goes around sweeping right, so it's a really technical section, and some guys were having trouble. Watching the pro guys out there was incredible today.
Yeah, it was one of those sections where do you blitz it? Do you try and jump through? Do you do a combination and throw it in? There's a little bit of a right-hander in it as well.
And as expected, here Covington wrapping it up, but Cole Martinez with a second, Kyle Swanson in third.
And that's the end of Moto 1. And here's the gate drop from Moto 2, and Covington got even better start than he did in the first Moto. Whole shot, then he was away.
The pressure's really on in Moto 2. We've got Thomas Covington obviously taking the win, but Martinez and Sloan second and third. There's a big paycheck on the line here, so all these guys are really pushing hard to try and cash in on the day.
And Sloan back up front just like he was in the first Moto, but fortunate for him, no more flat tires, and he was able to keep it up there pretty much the whole Moto.
One rider we haven't talked about yet is Colton Keeling from Yuma, Arizona, number 454 on a Kawasaki, finished fifth in the first Moto, right there in the hunt again here in Moto 2.
Keeping it consistent with the fifth and second Moto here.
Here comes Martinez, speaking of consistency, despite the fact that his bike is sprung for a rider that's almost 30 pounds lighter and that he's never been on before, and he's really hanging it out and showing these guys what he's got.
And as rough as the track was, it didn't seem like he was getting kicked around or bounced around or struggling out there.
Cue the slow-mo shot. And here comes Sloan, really battling back here. He's in second place, but couldn't quite make it happen. Covington going 1-1 for the overall.
Yeah, and that Cole Martinez with a second in the moto gives him second overall, with Jaisaac Sloan grabbing the third spot in the podium and Kyle Swanson just missing out in fourth.
Got to say, Sloan's looking disappointed with that third. We'll be looking for him to battle back tomorrow in the 450 class.
That was Covington wrapping it up with a 1-1 and Cole Martinez second overall. And again, Martinez was on a borrowed bike and still put it up front. But that wasn't all the racing action that we had today.
No, we had a full schedule today, including mini classes all the way up through. We had some really impressive performances by Gage Shear from San Clemente, California, who had a clean sweep in the mini classes, but not without challenge from Tanner Amarias. We also had the Kawasaki duo of Mark Worth and Buddy Wentworth. Mark Worth really putting the hammer down today, but Buddy kept him honest all day long.
Well, that closes it out for today. Tomorrow we have even more racing with the 450 pros going for some more points to see what they're going to do for in 2014. For Chris Vancers, Aaron Evansman, this is the USA Sport Motocross Show.